The Art of Letting Go. Welcome, friend, to a journey that's about to change everything. Imagine this: you're carrying around a suitcase filled with bricks. Each brick is a regret, a mistake, a toxic relationship, or a dream you clung to long past its expiration date. Now, what if I told you that not only do you not need to carry that suitcase, but you also shouldn't? It's weighing you down, keeping you from sprinting toward the life you deserve. And honestly, haven't you earned the right to travel light? This audiobook isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. It's the friend who hands you scissors to snip the strings tying you to the past. Together, we'll dig into why we hold on so tightly, how it stifles our growth, and most importantly, how we can finally let go. You'll hear stories you might recognize as your own. You'll find principles you can apply today, not someday, not when the timing feels perfect, but right now. And along the way, there'll be moments to laugh at the sheer absurdity of the things we cling to, cry over what we've been carrying, and feel the rush of possibility when we set it all down. So buckle up, or, more accurately, unbuckle. This isn't about perfection or getting everything right. It's about freedom. It's about joy. It's about living a life that feels light and possible. And if you're ready to let go of what's been holding you back, you're exactly where you need to be. Chapter 1. The Roots of Emotional Baggage. Explore how past experiences shape our present mindset and habits. The chains you don't see. Picture this: you're standing in front of a mirror, trying on an outfit. But no matter how good it looks, you feel something pulling you back, whispering, "Not good enough." That voice? It's not you. It's a collection of echoes from your past, that time you were overlooked, criticized, or made to feel small. These are the invisible chains of emotional baggage, shaping how you see yourself, your relationships, and the world. Our emotional baggage is often packed in moments when we're most vulnerable. A teacher's harsh words, a betrayal by someone you trusted, or even a childhood filled with unmet expectations. These events don't just stay in the past. They find a home in our minds, influencing every decision, every relationship, every goal. And while we can't change what happened, we can change how it lives within us. Why this matters? We carry emotional baggage everywhere, often without realizing it. It creeps into how we react to criticism, approach new opportunities, or connect with others. Left unchecked, it becomes a filter through which we view life. I can't trust anyone. I'll never be good enough. Why bother trying? In a world increasingly focused on self-care and personal growth, addressing emotional baggage is more than just a buzzword. It's a necessity. Mental health conversations are becoming mainstream, yet many of us still shy away from unpacking our past, fearing it's too painful or irrelevant. But here's the truth: understanding your emotional baggage is the key to unlocking your best self. Think about the last time you hesitated to take a risk, a job opportunity, a relationship, a creative venture. Was it because of the opportunity itself or because of a voice in your head saying, "What if I fail?" That hesitation often stems from past experiences when failure felt devastating or rejection stung deeply. Emotional baggage acts like a bad GPS, rerouting us away from growth and back into comfort zones that no longer serve us. I once worked with someone who described feeling stuck in every aspect of their life. After some reflection, they traced this back to a childhood spent hearing, "You'll never amount to anything." It wasn't true, of course, but the repetition etched it deeply. Recognizing the root of that belief was the first step toward dismantling it. Breaking free, tips to unpack emotional baggage. 1. Identify your luggage. Take a moment to reflect on recurring thoughts or feelings that hold you back. Ask yourself, where did this come from? Awareness is the first step to change. 2. Challenge the narrative. Once you've identified a limiting belief, question its validity. For example, if you think, "I'm not good enough," ask, "What evidence do I have that supports this?" Chances are, it's built on shaky ground. 3. Rewrite your story. You can't rewrite the past, but you can change how it influences your present. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of saying, "I always fail," try, "Every failure has taught me something valuable." 4. Seek support. Emotional baggage is heavy, but you don't have to carry it alone. Whether through a trusted friend, a therapist, or a support group, sharing your story can be incredibly freeing. 5. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about excusing behavior, it's about freeing yourself. Forgive others for what they didn't know and yourself for what you didn't understand at the time. Moving forward, unpacking emotional baggage isn't a one-and-done process. It's a journey, filled with revelations and challenges. But every small step you take toward understanding and releasing your past is a giant leap toward living fully and authentically. Take a moment today to sit quietly with your thoughts. Reflect on the emotional luggage you've been carrying and make a decision to start unpacking it. Write your reflections in a journal, share your story with someone you trust, or explore professional help if needed. Remember, letting go isn't about losing who you are, it's about reclaiming who you're meant to be. Your journey starts now. Chapter 2. Breaking the Cycle of Regret. Learn practical strategies to move beyond regrets and self-blame. The weight of yesterday. Imagine trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. Each rock represents a regret, a missed opportunity, a harsh word, a choice you wish you could take back. Every step is harder, every breath heavier. Regret can feel like that, an anchor to the past that stops us from moving forward. But what if you could drop that backpack? What if you could free yourself to run with lightness and joy? Regret is universal. We all have moments we wish we could rewrite. Maybe it's a relationship that ended badly, a career move that backfired, or a promise we didn't keep. While it's natural to reflect on these moments, dwelling on them can trap us in a cycle of self-blame and inaction. The good news: regret is not a life sentence. It's a teacher, and you can learn to break free. Why regret sticks. Regret lingers because it preys on our deepest fears, fear of failure, rejection, or not being enough. It tells us stories of what could have been and whispers, if only you had done things differently. But here's the truth, regret is rooted in hindsight, not foresight. You made choices based on what you knew and felt at the time. The person you were then did their best with the tools they had. Modern culture often amplifies regret. Social media, with its highlight reels of perfection, can make us feel like we're falling behind or making all the wrong choices. In reality, no one's path is linear, and no one's life is without mistakes. Take a moment to think about a regret that's been weighing on you. Now, ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? Regret is not just about loss, it's about growth. Every misstep holds a lesson if we're willing to look for it. Consider someone who hesitated to take a dream job because of fear, only to watch the opportunity slip away. That regret could spiral into self-blame. Why didn't I just go for it? But it can also spark action. Next time, I'll recognize fear for what it is and move forward anyway. The key to breaking the cycle is to shift from what I lost to what I gained. This doesn't erase the pain, but it transforms it into something meaningful. Strategies to move beyond regret. 1. Embrace the lesson. Reflect on what the experience taught you. Did it reveal something about your values, your resilience, or your relationships? Write it down as a reminder of how far you've come. 2. Practice self-compassion. Imagine speaking to a friend who's struggling with regret. Would you criticize them, or would you offer kindness and understanding? Treat yourself with the same gentleness. 3. Take ownership. Regret often comes with a sense of powerlessness. Reclaim your agency by focusing on what you can control now. Small actions lead to big shifts. 4. Reframe the what-ifs. Instead of imagining worst-case scenarios, envision the growth that came from your choices. Your past shaped the person you are today. 5. Create closure. Write a letter to your past self, expressing forgiveness and gratitude for their efforts. Then, symbolically release it, burn it, bury it, or tear it up to signify moving on. Moving forward. Regret is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to define you. It's a reminder that you care deeply, that you're willing to take risks, and that you're human. Breaking the cycle of regret isn't about forgetting the past, it's about honoring it as a stepping stone to a brighter future. Today, take a step toward releasing regret. Reflect on the lessons it's taught you, practice self-compassion, and commit to actions that align with the person you want to become. Share your insights with someone you trust or write them down to solidify your commitment. Remember, your past may have shaped you, but your future is yours to create. Chapter 3. Navigating Toxic Relationships. Recognize the signs of unhealthy connections and steps to disengage with grace. The invisible chains. Relationships can be one of life's greatest joys, a source of love, support, and growth. But when a connection becomes toxic, it can feel like an invisible chain, slowly draining your energy and self-worth. Recognizing this shift is not always easy. Toxicity often hides behind shared memories, emotional ties, or even the hope that things will get better. The question isn't whether relationships are worth fighting for, but knowing when the fight is costing you more than it should. Why toxic relationships persist? Why do we stay in relationships that harm us? The reasons vary: fear of loneliness, societal pressure, guilt, or the illusion of change. Sometimes, we hold on to the potential of a person rather than accepting their reality. Toxicity thrives in ambiguity, in the space where love and manipulation overlap. Understanding why we stay is the first step toward breaking free. In today's hyper-connected world, toxic relationships are not confined to romantic partners. They can manifest in friendships, workplaces, or even within families. Social media often amplifies these dynamics, as comparisons and constant connectivity blur the lines between healthy interactions and harmful ones. Signs of toxic connections. How can you tell if a relationship has crossed the line from challenging to toxic? Here are some telltale signs. 1. Emotional drainage. After interactions, you feel exhausted, anxious, or deflated. 2. Constant criticism. There's an ongoing pattern of undermining your self-esteem through harsh words or subtle jabs. 3. Manipulation and control. Decisions are one-sided, and your needs are consistently disregarded. 4. Lack of accountability. They rarely take responsibility for their actions and often deflect blame onto you. 5. Inconsistent behavior. They oscillate between affection and hostility, keeping you in a state of confusion. If any of these resonate, it's time to evaluate the impact of the relationship on your mental and emotional well-being. Breaking free with grace. Ending a toxic relationship is not about creating enemies, it's about reclaiming your peace. Here's how you can navigate this process with courage and compassion. 1. Acknowledge your worth. Remind yourself that you deserve respect, love, and support. Write down affirmations or keep a journal to reinforce this belief. 2. Set clear boundaries. Define what behaviors you will no longer tolerate. Communicate these boundaries firmly but respectfully. 3. Detach with empathy. Letting go doesn't mean harboring resentment. Recognize that toxic behavior often stems from unresolved pain or insecurity in the other person, but that doesn't make it your responsibility to fix them. 4. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Whether it's a trusted friend, therapist, or support group, don't hesitate to reach out. 5. Focus on healing. Replace the void with activities and relationships that nourish your spirit. Explore hobbies, practice mindfulness, or engage in self-care rituals. Consider a colleague who always shifts blame onto you during team projects. You find yourself overcompensating, taking on extra work, and constantly second-guessing your abilities. This dynamic erodes your confidence, leaving you frustrated and undervalued. By setting boundaries, politely declining unreasonable tasks and documenting your contributions, you gradually reclaim your sense of agency. Navigating toxic relationships is not about blaming or shaming but about choosing your well-being. By recognizing harmful patterns and taking deliberate steps to disengage, you create space for healthier connections to flourish. It's a journey of self-respect and resilience, one that leads to a life of greater peace and authenticity. Start today. Identify one relationship that's been weighing on you and take a small but meaningful step toward setting boundaries or letting go. Share your insights with someone who can support you on this journey, and remember, letting go of toxicity is not losing, it's making room for something better. Chapter 4. Cultivating Self-Forgiveness. Develop techniques to let go of self-criticism and embrace self-compassion. The weight of self-judgment. We are often our own harshest critics. The small mistakes, the words we wish we could take back, the opportunities we didn't seize, they play on a loop in our minds. Again, imagine lugging around a backpack filled with stones, each one representing a moment of regret or guilt. Over time, the weight becomes unbearable. Yet, unlike an external burden, this one is entirely self-imposed. The truth is, we all make mistakes. We all have moments where we wish we could hit the reset button. The real challenge is not avoiding these moments but learning how to forgive ourselves when they happen. Self-forgiveness isn't about excusing poor choices, it's about recognizing that growth comes from imperfection. Why self-forgiveness matters. Without self-forgiveness, guilt and self-criticism become barriers to progress. They can lead to 1. Paralysis of action. Fear of making another mistake can prevent you from taking risks or pursuing opportunities. 2. Damaged self-worth. Constant self-blame erodes confidence and fosters feelings of inadequacy. 3. Strained relationships. Unresolved guilt often spills over, affecting how we connect with others. In contrast, practicing self-forgiveness creates space for healing, growth, and deeper connections, both with ourselves and the people around us. A journey toward compassion. Consider this: you would never speak to a friend the way you often speak to yourself. When a loved one stumbles, you're likely to offer comfort, understanding, and encouragement. Why not extend the same kindness to yourself? Self-forgiveness is an act of self-compassion. It's a conscious decision to acknowledge your humanity and choose growth over self-punishment. It's about silencing the inner critic and amplifying the voice of your inner advocate. Techniques to let go of self-criticism. 1. Acknowledge and accept your feelings. Start by naming the emotions tied to your guilt or regret. Are you feeling ashamed, disappointed, or angry at yourself? Acceptance is the first step toward releasing these feelings. Avoid suppressing or ignoring them, instead, confront them with curiosity and compassion. 2. Reframe your inner narrative. Shift your perspective from "I failed" to "I learned." Mistakes are valuable teachers. Write down what your experiences have taught you and how they've shaped your growth. 3. Practice mindfulness. Spend time in quiet reflection or meditation. Focus on the present moment rather than replaying past mistakes. Mindfulness helps ground you and reduces the grip of self-critical thoughts. 4. Engage in self-compassion exercises. Example: the letter exercise. Write a letter to yourself as if you were a friend offering forgiveness and encouragement. Reread it when self-doubt creeps in. Affirmations. Repeat phrases like, "I am worthy of love and forgiveness," or "My mistakes do not define me." 5. Take responsibility without self-punishment. If your actions have impacted others, make amends where possible. Taking responsibility fosters accountability without the need for self-flagellation. 6. Celebrate progress. Recognize and celebrate the steps you take toward self-forgiveness, no matter how small. Each step is a victory worth honoring. Imagine a young professional haunted by a failed presentation at work. The embarrassment and self-criticism follow them for months, affecting their confidence in future projects. It's not until they acknowledge their feelings, seek feedback, and focus on improvement that they begin to rebuild their self-esteem. Over time, they even mentor others on overcoming setbacks, turning their perceived failure into a tool for empowerment. It's your moment to step back, take a breath, and truly connect with yourself. Think about a mistake or regret that you've struggled to let go of. What's one lesson it taught you? Or if you were comforting a friend in your shoes, what would you say? Write it down and read it back to yourself. A fresh perspective on healing. In a world obsessed with perfection, self-forgiveness is a radical act. It's about embracing your imperfections, owning your story, and choosing to move forward with a lighter heart. It's not a one-time event but a continuous practice, a journey towards self-acceptance and inner peace. Today, take one step towards self-forgiveness. Write a letter, recite an affirmation, or simply sit in quiet reflection. Share your experience with someone you trust or encourage others to embark on their own journey of self-compassion. Remember, forgiving yourself is not about letting go of responsibility, it's about letting go of the chains that hold you back. Start now, your best self is waiting. Chapter 5. Building Resilience for the Future. Equip yourself with tools to handle future challenges with strength and grace. Life's challenges are inevitable. From personal setbacks to global uncertainties, we all face moments that test our strength. Building resilience is not about avoiding adversity but learning how to thrive in the face of it. This chapter equips you with the tools to bounce back stronger and navigate life with unwavering grace. The need for resilience. Resilience isn't just for those weathering life-altering storms, it's essential for anyone striving to grow, adapt, and succeed. In today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, resilience allows you to recover from disappointments, maintain focus under pressure, and continue forward with purpose. Without it, even small setbacks can feel insurmountable, leaving you stuck in cycles of frustration or fear. Imagine life as a ship at sea. Some days, the waters are calm, and the horizon is clear. Other times, the storms rage, and the waves threaten to capsize you. Resilience is your anchor, a steady force that keeps you grounded no matter how rough the waters become. It doesn't stop the storm, but it ensures you don't drift away or sink. We've all been knocked down by life. Maybe it was a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or an unexpected loss. It's in those moments that resilience becomes more than a buzzword, it becomes the lifeline that pulls us back to shore. Think about a time when you felt like giving up but somehow found the strength to keep going. That spark within you. That's resilience, and it's something you can nurture and grow. Tools for building resilience. 1. Reframe your perspective. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, view them as opportunities to grow. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? 2. Develop emotional agility. Allow yourself to feel emotions without being consumed by them. Journaling, mindfulness, or speaking with a trusted friend can help you process feelings in a healthy way. 3. Cultivate a support network. Resilience isn't built in isolation. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. Seek out mentors, friends, or groups that align with your values. 4. Practice self-care. Physical and emotional well-being are the foundation of resilience. Prioritize sleep, exercise, and activities that bring you joy. 5. Strengthen your problem-solving skills. Break challenges into smaller, manageable steps. Tackling one piece at a time makes even the most daunting problems seem achievable. 6. Adopt a growth mindset. Believe in your ability to adapt and improve. Challenges aren't the end of the road, they're just part of the journey. In an age of social media and constant comparison, resilience is more crucial than ever. Many struggle with feeling not enough because they measure themselves against highlight reels. Building resilience helps you focus on your unique path and embrace imperfections as part of your strength. Now's the perfect moment to pause, take a deep breath, and really look inward. Challenge yourself. Over the next week, identify one area of life where you've been hesitant to act because of fear of failure. Take one step toward it, no matter how small. Resilience is not about being unshakable, it's about learning to bend without breaking. It's a skill anyone can develop, no matter their starting point. Adversity doesn't define us, how we rise from it does. Every storm you've weathered has prepared you for the next. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardships, it's about emerging from them stronger, wiser, and more determined. Take the tools you've learned here and put them into action. The next time life throws you a curveball, you'll be ready, not just to catch it but to knock it out of the park. Start small. Reflect on a recent challenge and how you handled it. What worked? What didn't? Commit to applying one new resilience strategy this week. Your future self will thank you. Actionable principles. 1. Acknowledge your burden. Identify what's weighing you down. Before you can let go of what's holding you back, you need to know what those things are. This is about identifying the invisible weight you carry, whether it's regret, guilt, or unresolved pain, and bringing it into the light. Writing it down is the first step toward understanding it, and understanding it is the key to releasing it. Why this matters? Every person carries emotional baggage, often without realizing it. These burdens show up in our lives as overthinking, avoidance, or even physical exhaustion. Acknowledging them isn't about self-pity, it's about self-awareness. It's the necessary step to move from "I don't know why I feel stuck" to "here's what I can do to change." Picture again yourself walking through life with a backpack. At first, it's manageable. But with every mistake, regret, and unresolved argument, another rock is added. Eventually, the load becomes unbearable, but you've carried it so long you don't even realize how much it's weighing you down. What if you could unzip that backpack, take out the rocks one by one, and finally feel light again? Think back to a moment in your life when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was a decision you couldn't shake, words you regretted saying, or a situation you wish had gone differently. You likely carried that feeling for weeks, months, or even years, without fully understanding how it influenced your decisions or moods. We all have these moments, they shape us, but they don't have to define us. Practical steps to acknowledge your burden. 1. Create space for reflection. Find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. This is your time to face what's been weighing on you, without judgment or distraction. 2. Ask the right questions. What's been keeping me up at night? What situations or thoughts make me feel anxious, guilty, or regretful? Are there recurring patterns or conflicts in my life that point to unresolved issues? 3. Write it all down. Use a journal, notebook, or even a piece of scrap paper. Don't censor yourself, let every thought, emotion, and memory flow freely. This is for your eyes only. 4. Organize the chaos. Once you've written everything out, group your burdens into categories: relationships, career, self-perception, etc. This helps you see patterns and prioritize what to address first. 5. Focus on what's within your control. Some burdens, like regret over past decisions, can't be undone. Others, like toxic relationships, can be actively managed. Separate the two and start with what you can change. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, people rarely take the time to pause and reflect. Social media and constant notifications often drown out our internal voices, leaving us feeling scattered and overwhelmed. By acknowledging your burdens, you reclaim your ability to focus on what truly matters, cutting through the noise and finding clarity. What would your life look like if you didn't carry these burdens? How would you feel, act, or make decisions differently? Acknowledging your burden isn't a sign of weakness, it's a demonstration of courage. By naming what weighs you down, you're taking the first and most important step toward freedom. Clarity is power, and once you have it, you're no longer at the mercy of the invisible forces holding you back. Your burdens have shaped you, but they don't have to dictate your future. Take the time to name them, face them, and understand them. Write them out, categorize them, and commit to addressing one at a time. Start today, find 15 minutes to reflect and write. The moment you acknowledge your burden is the moment you begin to lighten it. Each step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the peace and clarity you deserve. Two. Reframe the narrative. Instead of viewing the past as a series of mistakes, see it as a collection of lessons. This is about transforming how you view your past. Instead of letting your mistakes and missteps define you, reframe them as lessons that have shaped your growth. By shifting your perspective, you move from self-criticism to self-compassion, paving the way for personal empowerment. Many of us carry regret like a shadow, following us through life and clouding our decisions. It's easy to fall into the trap of defining ourselves by what went wrong instead of what we've learned. Reframing the narrative isn't just a mental exercise, it's a way to reclaim control over how you perceive yourself and your journey. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest. Each tree represents a decision, an event, or a moment from your past. You could focus on the tangled roots that tripped you or the storms that broke branches. But what if you notice the growth instead? The way sunlight filters through the leaves, the strength in the trunks that withstood the winds. What if you could see the forest not as a reminder of struggles, but as a testament to survival and resilience? We all have those moments, the job we didn't get, the words we wish we could take back, the relationship that ended before we were ready. These moments can feel like permanent scars. But what if, instead of scars, they were badges of honor, proof that you've lived, learned, and grown? Think back to a time when something didn't go as planned. At first, it probably felt like the end of the world. But looking back now, perhaps you can see the ways it reshaped you, taught you resilience, or redirected you towards something better. Practical steps to reframe your narrative. 1. Identify your stories. Reflect on the moments you consider mistakes. Write them down without judgment. 2. Ask empowering questions. What did I learn from this experience? How did it change me for the better? What skills or strengths did I develop because of it? 3. Rewrite the script. Take one event and write about it from a different perspective. Focus on the growth, not the pain. For example, original thought, I failed at starting my business. Reframed narrative, I learned what doesn't work and gained clarity on what truly matters in my industry. 4. Celebrate small wins. Recognize how each mistake contributed to who you are today. Give yourself credit for the courage it took to face challenges, even if they didn't end perfectly. 5. Practice daily gratitude. Each evening, write down one thing you're grateful for that came from a past experience, even one you initially viewed negatively. In today's fast-paced, results-driven world, the pressure to be perfect is relentless. Social media amplifies this, making failures feel magnified and successes of others seem effortless. Reframing your narrative helps you push back against this culture, focusing instead on authenticity, growth, and self-compassion. What's one lesson from your past you initially saw as a mistake but now recognize as growth? Mistakes are not the opposite of success, they're part of it. Every time you stumble, you learn. Every time you fall, you get back up stronger. By reframing your narrative, you're not erasing the past but reinterpreting it in a way that empowers you to move forward with clarity and confidence. The stories you tell yourself shape your reality. Start telling better ones. Take a moment today to reflect on a mistake you've been carrying. Write it down, then rewrite it as a lesson. This simple shift in perspective can change the way you see yourself and your future. Don't let regrets define you, let them refine you. Your journey is filled with wisdom, and it's time to embrace it. Three. Release through ritual. Create a symbolic act to let go. This actionable principle explores the power of symbolic rituals to help you let go of what no longer serves you. By engaging in a deliberate act of release, you give yourself permission to move forward with clarity and peace. Sometimes words and thoughts alone aren't enough to break free from the emotional weight of the past. A ritual, a physical, intentional action, can provide closure in a way that feels tangible and transformative. It's not about magic, it's about meaning. Imagine holding a stone in your hand. Its weight feels small but persistent, a reminder of something you've carried for too long. You walk to the edge of a river and, with a deep breath, hurl the stone into the current. The splash ripples outward, and for the first time in a long time, you feel lighter. Have you ever held onto an argument, a loss, or a regret for so long that it began to shape your days? Maybe you replayed a conversation in your mind, wishing for a different outcome. Or perhaps you've kept a keepsake that once brought joy but now only brings pain. Letting go isn't easy, especially when it feels like releasing a piece of your identity. But rituals can bridge the gap between intention and action. They create a moment where you can say, "This is enough. It's time to move forward." Practical steps to create your own ritual. 1. Identify what you need to let go. Reflect on what's weighing you down. Is it a specific memory, relationship, mistake, or feeling? Be honest with yourself. 2. Choose a symbolic action. Write a letter to the person or situation involved. You don't have to send it. Burn it, shred it, or bury it. Find a stone, stick, or object that represents your burden. Throw it into a body of water, bury it in the ground, or leave it behind in nature. Light a candle as you meditate on your intention to let go. When you blow it out, imagine the smoke carrying your burden away. 3. Create a sacred space. Find a quiet, meaningful location. This could be a favorite park, your backyard, or even a peaceful corner of your home. 4. Speak your intention aloud. Use simple, powerful language. I release this pain to make room for joy. I let go of this regret so I can move forward. 5. Follow through with your action. Commit fully to the act. Let it be a moment of transition. In a world of constant distractions and quick fixes, rituals offer a counterbalance. They encourage mindfulness and presence, creating a space to process emotions in a meaningful way. Modern practices like journaling, mindfulness meditation, and even vision boards all tie back to this timeless need for intentionality and reflection. If you could choose one symbolic act to represent letting go, what would it look like? Rituals aren't about dwelling on the past, they're about honoring it and moving forward. By creating a symbolic act of release, you're not erasing your experiences but transforming their role in your story. The burdens we carry shape us, but they don't have to define us. Take a moment to consider what you're ready to release. Choose a symbolic act and make it your turning point. This week, let one thing go. Whether it's through a letter, a stone, or simply closing a journal, mark the moment and step into the freedom waiting for you. Four. Set boundaries. Protecting your peace. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your well-being. This topic delves into the importance of setting clear, compassionate boundaries to shield yourself from toxic people and situations, helping you preserve your energy and foster meaningful connections. In a world that often celebrates saying yes to everything, we risk losing ourselves by not drawing lines. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. Without them, we leave our peace and energy vulnerable to others' demands and behaviors. Have you ever left a conversation feeling drained, as if someone had siphoned your joy? It's a silent signal your mind and body send, urging you to draw the line between what you can give and what you must protect. Think of a moment when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was a friend who constantly leaned on you but never offered support in return, or a colleague who overstepped by piling their responsibilities onto your plate. How did that make you feel? Frustrated? Exhausted? Unseen? We've all been there. These moments are not just inconveniences, they're calls to action. When we say yes to everything and everyone, we inadvertently say no to ourselves. Practical steps to setting boundaries. 1. Identify your limits. Reflect on areas of your life where you feel overwhelmed or taken for granted. This might include work, friendships, or family dynamics. 2. Communicate clearly and calmly. Use direct yet kind language. I can't take on any more projects this week. I value our friendship, but I need to take some time for myself right now. I'd prefer if we didn't discuss this topic anymore, it's not healthy for me. 3. Expect resistance, not agreement. People accustomed to crossing your boundaries may push back. Stay firm and remember that boundaries are for your benefit, not theirs. 4. Practice saying no without guilt. Reframe saying no as saying yes to yourself. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. 5. Reevaluate regularly. Boundaries are not static. As your needs and relationships evolve, so should your boundaries. The rise of hustle culture and constant digital connectivity has blurred the lines between personal and professional life. As people face burnout at unprecedented levels, boundaries are becoming more recognized as essential to mental health and productivity. The art of saying no is emerging as a critical skill for navigating modern life. If you could set one boundary today to protect your peace, what would it be? Setting boundaries isn't about creating distance, it's about fostering respect for yourself and others. When you honor your limits, you teach people how to treat you and invite healthier dynamics into your life. The peace you seek begins with the boundaries you set. Take a moment to reflect on where you need clearer limits in your life. Practice small, consistent steps toward enforcing them, and watch how your relationships and your energy transform. This week, choose one boundary to set and hold firmly. Share your experience with someone you trust, or even journal about the shifts it brings to your life. The more you practice, the stronger you'll grow in protecting your peace. Five. Focus on growth. Redirecting your energy toward personal development. This topic aims to guide you in transforming the weight of the past into fuel for your future. By shifting focus from what you've lost to what you can gain, you open doors to endless possibilities for personal development and achieving your goals. Life has a way of drawing our attention backward, especially when we're grappling with loss, regret, or disappointment. But energy spent dwelling on the past leaves little room for building the future. Redirecting that energy toward growth not only redefines your narrative but also empowers you to create a life aligned with your true potential. Imagine planting seeds in a garden. Would you pour all your water into soil that's already barren and unyielding, or would you nourish the spots where new life is ready to emerge? Growth thrives where we focus our care and attention. Think about a time when you faced a setback, a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, or a dream you had to let go of. The sting of those moments can linger, making it hard to move forward. But consider this: every storm eventually passes, and when it does, the soil it leaves behind is often richer for new growth. Practical steps to focus on growth. 1. Define your vision. Write down what growth looks like to you. Is it learning a new skill? Building deeper relationships? Pursuing a long-term goal? Having clarity makes the journey intentional. 2. Set small, achievable goals. Growth doesn't have to mean giant leaps. Start with small, manageable steps. For example, commit to reading one book a month on a topic that excites you. Dedicate 30 minutes a day to learning a new skill or hobby. Set a single weekly goal that aligns with a larger ambition. 3. Shift your perspective. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as feedback. What did you learn? How can you apply those lessons moving forward? 4. Invest in self-care. Growth requires energy, and energy thrives on balance. Prioritize your mental, physical, and emotional well-being with routines that replenish you. 5. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Seek out mentors, friends, and communities that inspire and challenge you to evolve. Growth is contagious when shared. In a world driven by constant comparisons on social media and the pressure to have it all, focusing on personal growth can feel daunting. However, the growing self-improvement movement highlights a shift. People are realizing the value of inner progress over external validation. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. If you could focus all your energy on just one thing that would improve your future, what would it be? Growth is less about fixing the past and more about nurturing the present to build the future. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step away from stagnation and toward transformation. The seeds of growth are already within you, they just need the right environment to thrive. Take one intentional action today toward your future self. Write down your vision, plan your next step, and commit to it wholeheartedly. Share your journey with a trusted friend or community to amplify your momentum. Growth is waiting. The question is, where will you begin? Letting go is not a single act but a journey. It's about recognizing that clinging to pain, anger, or regret only robs you of today's joy and tomorrow's possibilities. Each time you choose to release, you reclaim a piece of your power. This process isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Every step forward is a testament to your strength and resilience. Your journey to freedom begins now. The past has shaped you, but it doesn't define you. By letting go, you're not losing anything, you're gaining everything. Take the first step today. Reflect, release, and rise. Commit to living a life unburdened by negativity and filled with possibility. Your brighter future is waiting, embrace it.